Welcome to the Orchard Hard Drive. Dear Diary, it's been a long day of walking through caves, a lot of challenges along the way. Bindweed, our cave dweller guide, is showing us the best way to traverse the caves, while Gwyneth is guiding the way with her gauntlet. I never get over seeing the flame appear in her hand and the eyeball. It's always so cool looking. Then, the creatures of the cave started. Nothing major, just rat-like things. I say rat-like because they walk around on their back legs and wear kind of clothes. Twayblade was able to take care of them with some confusion spells. Let us get past. A confusion spell didn't work on the much larger rock creature that didn't seem to like us looking around in the cave. They chased us until we lost them. Bindweed said they're usually more docile. It must be being so close to the dark wood. And we were, it seemed. The cave stopped, and suddenly there were tunnels. Hand-built tunnels. Lots of metal and brick. Bindweed said she couldn't continue on with us. That she knew a group of cave dwellers nearby, and she would stay with them before heading back to Bilberry. We all thanked her for everything, and Gwyneth said how she would see her again soon with Elizabeth. We carried on through the tunnels. Clonk said how the tunnels looked like they were thousands of years old. There were carvings on some walls. Clonk couldn't really understand them, but it seemed to indicate they were close to the city. Twayblade said how this was further proof. There was a city in the dark wood. Himself and Clonk went off on a big chat about it all. I went further ahead with Gwyneth. The whole time Gwyneth had her sword close at hand. Her in her full armour, including helmet. She's on full alert. And she needed to be. We heard a huge thudding sound, then a smash, and the ground started to shake. We waited for the dust to settle before carrying on. Finally, we found a ladder to the surface. Gwyneth said she would go up and take a look, just to see what it looked like and if it was safe. She made her way to the top, lifted the manhole cover. She looked around for a bit, turning back to say it was all wooded area. Some walls, but no buildings or anything. She came back down and checked the gauntlet. It was still pointing to the distance. We kept moving. Dear Diary, we've gotten further into the tunnels. This time, when we found a ladder and Gwyneth checked, she said there were buildings. Her gauntlet pointed southeast still. We decided to take a look around. When we got to the surface, we heard a terrifying animal cry. Then it seemed to fly off into the distance. We stuck together as we explored. Clonk looked at the buildings, and some more carvings made it seem like this was some kind of place of learning. We moved around the walls till we found a door. Inside was this huge building, only there wasn't much in the way of books. The odd scrap of paper, that's about it. Gwyneth opened her hand, and the inflamed eye still pointed southeast. She'd move, and the eye would stay pointed in that direction. Then we heard a rumbling. Some debris fell. We ran for cover as the building shook even more. Suddenly there was a huge crash, and we saw a huge winged creature flying through the building. It let out a horrific scream we heard earlier. It landed and seemed to be searching for us. It moved closer. Gwyneth had her sword out, and Twayblade's hands glowed with magic. We were in a small corner of the room, behind some rubble. It cried out again, then stomped closer to us. Gwyneth couldn't wait. She swung at the monster and got it in the beak. It seemed dazed for a moment, then screamed at her. When it went back to bite her, Twayblade fired a blast of energy from his hand right into its mouth. It cried out and fell backwards. Its terrible reptile wings flailed as it fell. Soon it righted itself and seemed angry. It charged at us. Twayblade fired some energy at Gwyneth's sword as she swung for it again. The charged sword made contact with the beast and cut it. Once again let out a terrible scream, but this time it took off, making another hole to escape from the building. Twayblade was angry. He said this is why we shouldn't have come here. That creature isn't even one of the worst things you can find here. We would need to get answers or the gateway itself very soon. We left the building and ran back to the tunnels. We said we'd wait there for the night and make camp.